Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Fujifilm 10-24mm ultra-wide angle zoom lens. I had a chance to play with it over the weekend, so this will be a very short review. In fact, it's more like a first impression report. Fujifilm ultra-wide angle arsenal consists of 3 lenses. This one, 8-16 and 14mm f2.8 prime. This lens has been around for a while. It was released back in 2013 and since then hadn't changed one bit. I won't talk too much about technical specs, although let's just mention that this is 15-36mm equivalent zoom range in a full frame world. It comes with optical image stabilization, takes 72mm filters, and it's built like a tank. I found it slightly front heavy, especially on smaller bodies like my XC1, but it balances really well on a single-digit XT series cameras. This is inner focusing design, but the front element moves in and out while zooming. I don't know if this could cause any dust congregation, but you might keep this in mind when shooting in extreme weather conditions. Manual focusing ring is uber smooth. It glides with just enough resistance. Zoom ring works in almost identical manner. When it comes to build quality and ergonomics, 10-24 is simply superb, although the lack of weather resistance could be its only weakness. So how about optical performance? This zoom is really versatile. It's designed for landscape and architectural photography, but it can serve you really well as a general purpose lens. Landscape lenses usually don't require blazingly fast autofocus, but 10-24 is in fact really fast and pretty darn quiet. If you're planning to shoot videos, you'll be pleasantly surprised. After 3 days of use, I can say the lens is sharp across the entire zoom coverage, but for me, wider angles definitely look better than the very end of the range. Corners are a bit soft wide open, but when you stop it down at 5.6, the lens is sharp across the entire frame. Peak performance, in my opinion, lies somewhere in between f6.3 and f8. Lens diffraction kicks in at about f11. Sharpness still holds until about f16, but after that things fall apart. The lens is soft, but I have to say still usable. Vignetting and barrel distortion are typical weaknesses of ultra-wide lenses, but 10-24 performs pretty darn good. Distortion is visible between 10 and 15mm. If you shoot JPEGs, in-camera correction will take care of those imperfections. Chromatic aberration is well controlled even in high contrast areas. Color rendering is typical Fuji, simply amazing. The lens produces nice warm tones, and when you add those color profiles to the mix, you definitely have a winner. Once again, this is not a complete review, but if I have to summarize it, I would say this is a great but not totally perfect lens. I like the build quality and all metal construction. Lens is extremely versatile because it covers such a useful focal range. It's very sharp, especially when stopped down to f8. If you don't care about fast aperture and close focusing distance, 10-24 can possibly replace 4 Fujinon primes. When you take that into consideration, price tag of $1,000 is in fact quite reasonable. On the other hand, lack of weather resistance might be a deal breaker for many. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal. You just have to be careful, that's all. I'm not crazy about infinite aperture ring. There are no hard stops and the aperture numbers are not engraved on lens barrel. I think Fujinon 8-16 f2.8 is its closest competition. The wider coverage and slightly better optical performance is offset by a way higher price tag. In my books, 10-24 is still a great bang for your buck. The maximum aperture f4 is not ideal and the lens could be faster, but then again, it will likely cost way more than $1,000. I'm glad I had a chance to test it out. I think it's really great, but Fujifilm 14mm f2.8 still remains my ultra-wide-angle lens of choice. That little prime is sharper, lighter, and faster than the zoom. After all, 21mm is my favorite wide-angle field of view. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Fujifilm 10-24 f4 zoom lens. Thanks again for watching. Please click that like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Cheers.